Rebecca, and I'm a senior at Lower Dauphin High School, and I will be 18 in November.
My name's Chris, I'm 23, I'm from Harrisburg, and I've been out of the closet since I was 18. The story was very funny. I was sitting in the living room watching an episode of Night Court, and there was a character on there who was gay, and they explained in that show what gay meant, and that's how I knew what gay meant, you know? And then I wrote it down and I told my mom, and that's how it happens.
There's been a big change in the age at which students come out, or LGBT people come out, in the last 30 years or so. So now we're seeing both boys and girls coming out at much younger ages than in the past. And psychologists think of the coming out process as involving both the age at which the person, him or herself, is aware of same-sex attraction and desire, and then also when they disclose that to other people.
Well, I actually first told my mom I was gay when I was 6. And I wrote it down on a little piece of paper. I was crying the whole time, and she's like, oh, it's just a phase, you'll get over it. So I went through grade school and I went through a private Catholic school, so Roman Catholic school, and for 8 years I was praying, oh God, please don't let me be gay. Oh God, please, you know. And then I went to high school, and after high school, college came, and then I was way more accepting of myself, and all my friends were very accepting, you know. And my graduation night from high school, I told all my friends, they were like, we knew that, so what? And I told my mom again, and she was like, we'll go to college and see what happens, you know. So about a year later, I was like, no, I'm still gay, you know.
In 7th grade, on the way to confirmation class one night, I was just like, Mom, Dad, I think I like girls, and they said okay, and that they'd love me no matter what, and then I didn't talk about it until 10th grade.
Overwhelmingly, parents are accepting. Overwhelmingly, parents immediately express support or go through a kind of range of emotions, this emotional path that leads to, in the end, acceptance of the child. So it's only about 1/5 of mothers and 1/4 of fathers that have an automatic intolerant or rejecting reaction to a youth coming out.
The family situation is very odd. They're not supportive. They do not want to hear about it. They're the kind of mentality where if I don't see it, it doesn't exist, it's not there. And before, my parents both said to me, if you have a boyfriend that's been long-term, we do not want to meet him. We do not want to deal with anything like that. You know, if we have holiday gatherings, you come here. You don't, and I'm like, no.
Unfortunately, the evidence on school acceptance is rather bleak, even through today. There has been a greater acceptance of GLBT youth over the years, but even up until last year, about 75% of GLBT youth report that people in their school use words like faggot and dyke as insults. So there's not a lot of protection in a lot of schools against this kind of teasing or bullying or hate speech going on. So unfortunately, it seems like across the nation, there's still a lot of difficulties being faced by GLBT youth in schools.
I want to say I was a sophomore, so this would have been 2000. And I was walking the hallway, and one of my classmates, who was in my grade, he was openly gay in school. And it was, I come from it was a very crowded school. There was about maybe like 2,200 kids in the school. And we were walking through the hallways, not together, he's about maybe 10, 12 feet in front of me, and 4 football players just jumped him and beat him up, like real bad. And there was blood on the wall, and he was really hurting. And a teacher came by maybe like 5 minutes later after they were done, or they were still beating him up. And the teacher broke the football players off of him and took the kid that was beaten up down to the principal's office. And the 4 football players just walked away. Well, I found out later that this kid had been taken to the principal's office, not the nurse's office, and the first thing the principal said to him was, if you weren't gay, they wouldn't beat you up.
Some teachers, more than others, are more lenient with what things are said in their class, and their beliefs, they're not supposed to get in the way of what how they teach or how they act towards a student, but we're all human, so they do if they know. And most people, I think, if they don't like it, they just kind of leave you alone for the most part, but then you have the people who aren't nice and give you a hard time about it and stuff. So it's give or take both ways.
One of the most significant predictors of a positive school environment is having a gay-straight alliance in your school. So studies comparing schools that have gay-straight alliances to schools that don't show that those with the alliances have a reduced incidence of hate speech or harassment happening in the hallways, and teachers take a more proactive role against against a student who is engaging in hate speech or harassment, and will actually stop it in schools that have these gay-straight alliances.
We asked to start a GSA at our school, and the principal said, and I quote, "We have no gay kids at our school." We basically told him, go and stand in the hallways and look at the gay and lesbian community that we have at school.
My senior year, we tried to have a GSA. Not really a GSA. One of the Spanish teachers, she was homosexual, and she wanted to have something for the other gay students in the school. And I was a member, and there was maybe 5 or 6 other people that were members. And we would meet every week, but then the administration came by and said, you can't have this here because we're afraid for your safety, and we don't want the other students to single you out. That was their excuse. So they had us disband, and they wouldn't allow the teacher to have any other clubs like that.
A lot of the guidance counselors are really cool with it. I talked to them about having problems with it or questioning things, not necessarily my sexuality anymore, but just different things that go along with that. Most of the guidance counselors are really easygoing with everything, and they have safe zone stickers on their windows and stuff.
Gay-straight alliances, I think, are one important step, but also just having administrators and teachers support staff who are actively taking a role in creating a safe environment for GLBT students is really crucial. If a student feels like there's an authority figure who is going to be protecting them, then they feel safer, not surprisingly. Also, if they have someone that they can talk to about issues who is a part of the school institution, then this leads to feelings of inclusion in the campus climate. Also, actually having anti-bullying policies on records, actual rules or laws that are state mandated or at least school mandated that include homophobic remarks and homophobic acts of aggression from taking place is a really positive step.
I'm really hoping that kids don't have to be afraid to come out, even though it's probably highly unlikely. I really hope that they're more comfortable with their sexuality and that they don't try and hide and suppress things and lie about it as much as I did.
I would like to see a little bit more effort made on the part of the older gay population to help the newer gay population to discover who they are and possibly meet more people, like a community center. Like, they have common roads for younger people. They don't have, and then they have the bar scene, and then other people have mentioned like the internet and gay.com, and that's not the place you want to meet somebody, and there really isn't anywhere around here that they have, like, there's no human rights campaign building around here. There's nothing like really activist that you can do to meet someone or to possibly make a difference.
As far as hopes of where I want to be, I want to have a wife one day, and I'm going to have beautiful children, and we're going to live in a pretty house and white picket fence. No, I'm just kidding. We're going to live in a house together and have kids, and so my dad can have the grandchildren that he wants, and he said that he's going to spoil them rotten, and it's unrealistic, but I want a happily ever after, so we'll have to see.